Happy Monday, beautiful people. So amazing to be with you. I hope you are well. I am Natasha Anand, and I am really, really delighted to be here with you on this beautiful day to share a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of channeling on sovereignty. So this is most certainly the theme of the time for me at this moment. I have been, over the last week or so, the last 10 days, been sharing content through my social media channels, but also to my students as well on my holistic medicine and energy medicine teacher training programs, and sharing content and teachings about sovereignty. And I feel now more than ever it's the time. It's the time for us to really free ourselves, because that is what the true ultimate nature of sovereignty is all about. It is a radical freedom that we choose to be, to have. Because really, if you kind of just drill down into this life and this existence and what it is that we actually have, we own, we possess, it really is just this. And even when it comes to this, do we possess this body? Is this just a borrowed suit for us to explore this existence, experience this life? It's something that our soul manifests, but it's something that dissolves and returns to the earth. And so sometimes we can get to a point where we recognize, we can remember this time and time again, that absolutely nothing matters. Absolutely nothing really ultimately matters. And this is lesson number 1 of the Course in Miracles, which I've literally just started today. This is so amazing. Everything is coming in together. I have a few very dear soul sisters who have started a Course in Miracles, and it is a book, a workbook, but also let me just turn my WhatsApp off on my computer because it's going to be loud. So it's a book, but it's also a 365-day journey, lesson by lesson, into the Course of Miracles, which is all about the mind. It's all about reprogramming the mind and reconditioning the mind. And so the first lesson is very much nothing really, truly matters, because everything in this existence is here as an expression of our own consciousness, to help us explore and navigate this world. Okay, so that first lesson is always very triggering for people, apparently, because the ego wants to jump in and absolutely attach all of its all of its ideas and identities and everything on. But no, this does matter. My family does matter, and this book does matter, and this possession does matter, because ... And this is what this lesson is asking us to strip away. It's asking us to really, it's throwing us in really, really deep, and asking us to see the stories that our ego creates. So when we say this mobile phone doesn't really matter, and our ego jumps in to give us all the reasons why it does, that's a point. It's a stimulus. It's something which we can then see. We need that resistance. We absolutely need that resistance. We need the shadow, the darkness, to show and reveal to us what is there to be worked with. So coming back to the radical freedom that is really at the heart and the core of the true nature and ultimate nature of our sovereignty, is akin to our radical freedom to be and to exist freely in this life and experience all of the miracles and all of the beauty that life has to offer us, as a means of expanding our consciousness, as a means of our soul journeying and evolving and expanding its own consciousness. It's really simple. So I'm not going to sit here and say to you that I know what the purpose of life is and I know why we're here or what we're here about. But what I do really feel so much in my heart, and as I practice and I journey, is reconfirmed, is that we are here simply to be what we are, to be this beautiful expression of creation, of creational energy, and to explore and to expand our consciousness and bring all of this experience and all of these learnings and teachings and wisdom into our soul memory. So we move on to the next life. There is an aspect of that comes with me, and we can then unlock our soul memory and remember in a way what we've accumulated in our past lives, in our ancestral line, and bring that abundance into the present time. So the true ultimate nature of sovereignty is a radical freedom. And we have to make the choice to be free. It's not just an intellectual concept, and absolutely we can spend this entire lifetime intellectualizing this concept and teaching it from that place of an intellectual idea. One of the things that was said in the first lesson today in the Course in Miracles was the teacher was saying that she'll often meet people who say, you know, I've been working with A Course in Miracles for 20 years, for 30 years, you know, and they ask her a question about one of the lessons, and she realizes through that question that you may have been working with it, you may have been intellectualizing the content, but you've not really practiced it and you've not really got to grips with it. Now, this is the key, that freedom and exercising our choice and developing greater trust and doing all of those other things, you know, journeying through forgiveness, breaking the energetic bonds that we have between others, you know, rewiring the mind, dropping more into our heart, clearing our trauma, all these, you know, beautiful aspects of life that we journey through and that we experience that is a part of us rewiring the mind. It's a part of the ego relearning to drop those aspects and realign those aspects back into self energy. All of those things, you know, all of these journeys are really integral to what we are and to activating this technology as a human. And it's very much a part of our training. It's what we come here to do. Okay, we come here with this incredible mind that we've got to make a choice how we work with, because soul self-energy is here. It's always here. This is soul self-energy is an energy that just transcends everything, that is connected to creator energy, that doesn't hold the judgment, that doesn't hold the fear and the shame and the doubt and the stress and all that kind of stuff. It is just being. It's our presence. It's our awareness. It is our unlimited love, unlimited capacity for love. It is that pool of trust. It is the source of forgiveness. It is the radical aliveness, the radical freedom that we choose to step into. That is just us and who we are. And so the mind, the ego, are a collection of these energies that somehow come into this. Some of those energies come with the body. Some also journey with us through the ancestral line, and some come with the soul too. And they come here and form the ego. And all of these different beliefs and thought patterns are our tests. There are little day by day, minute by minute, little training programs that help us to see our blind spots, see our shadow, and remind us of our resistance, so we know, there is something there to clear. Now, where do these energies come from? Where does the ego come from? And as I kind of alluded to before, I think I stated, you know, the ego comes from different places, and we kind of accumulate, and these energies of our egos accumulate, and they get stronger and stronger with each lifetime through the ancestral line. And what happens is we get to this point where, you know, this deep work can happen with our mind and with our ego to really bring it all back into alignment with soul. So I know for me, this lifetime is very much, it's very much for realigning myself back into soul energy. And I have felt that, yeah, it's taken me a lot of practice over the last 6, 7, 8 years, but I really feel like I'm stabilizing into that cosmic heart, into that self heart soul energy. And I tend not to blend with my ego, with my mind, or with my parts for longer than a few hours. I don't carry forward the shame or the anger or the fear. Well, there are fears that I'm going to say, there are fears there that are, I'm going to talk about this in a moment. So some of the big, some of the big stuff I've really worked on, some of the big stuff is still there. But just to give you as an example, I tend not to carry a lot of my shame and fear and anxiety day to day to day. I'm not blending with it. I tend to be able to work on it in the moment. But where I'm seeing that there are really strong ties and energetic bonds to, some of my deep stuff that's taking me a little bit longer to really get to and really clear, is this deeply entrenched fear and this deeply entrenched shame that it's just always there in the system, right? It's always there in the system. And there's some fear that I am absolutely is just present, and is like a residue, and it's kind of neatly tucked away, and it isn't something that's coming to my attention, and I'm not overly blended with it. I'm not like, fear isn't here, but it's buried away. And so when it's buried away, it's still binding us to our trauma. And we're not able to fully let go of the burdens that we carry. And when we're not fully able to let go of the burdens that we carry, some of that stuff is so big and it's so meaty and juicy and it's so connected to everything in our system that it can keep us ticking over. It can keep us from making the choice to be in love in that moment. It can keep us from making the choice in that moment to, I'm going to set myself free of the judgment that I feel coming up. In this moment, I'm feeling an anger rising, and I'm going to choose to set myself free from this anger and simply see it as something that is arising within my system, but not something that I feel that I have to go along with or has to take over my body. It's that choice in that moment that we can make. And when we have this deeper, older stuff that we've just not looked at, we've just not acknowledged, we keep suppressing it. And when it comes up, we just like, nope, just got to keep going. I'm just going to push that down. I'm going to suppress it. When we keep doing that, we're saying to that old stuff, like, no, you need to stay down there. You need to stay locked away. You need to stay stuck. But it's going to prevent us from making the choice in that moment to free ourselves from that, experience. Because remember, if we're here to experience life in all its beauty, yes, absolutely, there are times we have to sit with that anger and feel it and know it. But there are times when it is time to set it free, to be free of that. And to then allow that new expansive and openness and that energy to come in and share love and joy and bliss with us. That little extra space that is created in the system, that little extra capacity that we then have to just be in our joyfulness and be in our blissfulness. So the true and ultimate nature of sovereignty is exercising our choice to be free. It's exercising our free will, ultimately, and our choice to experience free will and practice free will. We don't absolutely have to get it right every single time. And the point of practice is to practice doing it, and so that it gets easier and we remember faster and all that kind of stuff, because this life is a practice. It is a devotion to our self-practice. It's this, just tune into the incredible, miraculous nature of this existence for a moment. Just drop into your heart space, maybe close your eyes, And just think about a flower, the most beautiful flower you've ever seen. Pull that memory into your consciousness. Tune into the most beautiful beach or the most beautiful tree or forest you've ever been in and that you've ever experienced, and draw that into your memory. And really remember how it felt to be there, to be in that place, to see that for the first time. And remember and appreciate just how incredible it felt to be alive and to be witnessing that. Take yourself back and appreciate and acknowledge the miracle, the love in that moment. And really tune into, wow, what is that? What has been created? How incredible is it that that has been created for you to enjoy, to experience? What a blessing, what a blessing it is. What a privilege it is to be alive and to experience that. What a privilege, what a blessing, what a miracle. And just acknowledge and remember that in each and every moment you have the ability, you have the freedom to choose to be in that joyful, blissful recognition of the ultimate awe, inspirational beauty, miraculous nature of life. And we have that capacity to remember, to remember, to remember in each moment. And as we practice, we quicken our remembrance. We remember to remember quicker. Draw that choice into your system right now. Draw that awareness, create that affirmation, create that intention, that commitment to yourself right now in this moment. I will remember to remember minute by minute just how beautiful, how miraculous this existence is, just how privileged and blessed I am to experience even one of these miracles, even to just have experienced one beautiful flower, one incredible tree. Gratitude and forgiveness are two absolute keys to the ultimate nature accessing sovereignty and to the ultimate nature of sovereignty. Because when we are sovereign, we are truly free. But to be truly free, we have got to acknowledge and recognize and be grateful for what we have. Because if we are not that, we cannot recognize the abundance and the miracle and the beauty of this life. If we do not have that gratitude, and I'm not just talking about, yeah, I'm grateful. Of course I'm grateful. You know, I'm not ungrateful. I'm grateful. But are you really, really, really grateful into the core of your being? When you close your eyes and you think about that flower and you think about how beautiful it is, do you feel those explosions in your heart? Do you feel your heart energy just opening and going, oh, and surrendering to the love of that? Do you really feel that gratefulness down to your core? Is it something that you embody and that you emanate? Is it something you truly believe? Or is it just something that you say because it is something that we've been conditioned to say? Because from the time we were born, our mother and our father and our teachers say thank you, that's a good girl, and you have a conditioning that if you're going to be a good girl or a good boy, you're going to be grateful. You say thank you. So we've got to really unpick and scrutinize our beliefs. Do we really believe that we are grateful? Do we really believe in gratitude? Do I really, really embody that gratitude for this existence? And forgiveness, what I talked about, and I actually pulled a divination card to get a bit of guidance on this talk, and forgiveness came up. And my very dear sister, Charmaine Berry, who I was with yesterday, who was talking about the Course in Miracles and reminded me to get onto the Course in Miracles. And she talked about forgiveness, and she's talked about forgiveness a lot. She's done a lot of study and a lot of practice around forgiveness. I've received a lot of teachings from her around forgiveness, actually, because the thing is, when we are not in that, when we are holding stuff toward another, when we're holding something against another, we're holding somebody in a pattern. And so actually, maybe that person wants to forgive themselves for what they did to you, because that's how we see it. It's not necessarily what happened. But maybe they want to forgive themselves for their involvement in something that transpired between the two of you. But if I'm holding that person and I'm projecting my energy through my thoughts, which are a real energetic bond, and I might not even be thinking about it every day, but I'm still holding that anger for that ex-boyfriend. I'm still holding the anger for my teachers for not having taught me properly. I'm still holding my anger towards my parents for not letting me go to that, party that one night, or whatever, or even something was, I'm still holding anger at my, at my family for not allowing me to be who I wanted to be. If we are holding that stuff, it's actually preventing those other beings to be free fully from that. Because that energetic bond, it connects the both of us. So, okay, I'm aware energetically, I'm a master energy worker, so I know that I can cut those bonds from other people. So even if that person over there is holding me in something, I know how to clear that, I know how to cut that. But a lot of people out there don't know how to do that. The ex-boyfriend, the teacher from primary school that hit you, whatever it is, whoever it is, they might not know how to clear and break those bonds that you're holding them in. And there are karmic implications for this, that if we know, I know right now I've come into that awareness that I'm holding them, I'm doing this beautiful work, but I'm still choosing to hold them into that. There are real energetic implications for that, because this whole system is a self-organizing system. And I'm not saying I'm going to be punished or you're going to be punished. That's not how it works. It's not a tit for tat. But energy is only ever just moving around and recycled. It's not destroyed, okay? It moves from one form into another. And so we have to take that personal responsibility. Just in the same way that we give abundance, that abundance comes back to us. Yeah, if we are holding others, then that pattern is going to come back to us, because we're still resonating that frequency out. And so forgiveness, we've got to really, to be able to fully let go of holding those people in those patterns, we really have to drill down to the core of what it is that we are holding, that the trauma, the karma, the samskara that is binding us to making the choice not to forgive them and not free them. The radical forgiveness is just like, I radically now make the choice to just free myself more than anything. Oh, that pain and that anguish and that suffering, because what is holding me, preventing me from forgiving, is I am choosing to hold that identity, that victim identity that I have created, because he or she did something wrong to me and they don't deserve to be free of it. And it was so bad that happened to me and they didn't know how I felt and how it impacted me. And that is what we call victim consciousness. So those stories that we can hear our mind telling ourselves when we do the first lesson of the Course in Miracles, when we say to ourselves, that object or this body is meaningless, doesn't mean anything. Watch what the mind says. Watch what story comes up. Just watch out, listen out for the victim consciousness in that. Listen out for the grasping in that, the attachment. Listen, read between the lines, feel the energy of that reliance, and show yourself. Allow that understanding to come to you and create that space of non-judgment. So when the judgment arises within you, that recognize that that's a part of you. This is a part of you that, again, you're going to have to learn to forgive. You're going to have to learn we're not just forgiving others for what they did to us, we're forgiving ourselves, because it's those parts of our ego that judged us. It's those parts of our ego that led us to that place. It's the parts of our ego that told us we were not good enough. It's the parts of our ego that allowed us to stay in this victim consciousness, in the story. And so it's ultimately ourselves that we have to free ourselves from, because any of the stories of somebody else doing something, and of like, if we've had to forgive someone else for something, take that inwards, because it's completely likely that that which you're forgiving in somebody else, there's an aspect of that which needs to be forgiven in ourselves. Because we only project out what we have the capacity to project out. So if we have seen something in somebody else, it's only because we have seen that within ourselves. Because if we didn't see it within ourselves or anybody else, we wouldn't have seen it in the other person. We wouldn't have created that attachment to them. That's something we learn to do. So we've got to learn to forgive ourselves for those stories that we created about ourselves. We've got to learn to forgive ourselves for not being good enough. We've got to learn to forgive ourselves for those judgments that we're making about ourselves day to day to day. And that starts with, when the judgment arises, is just simply saying, it's okay, it's okay. I see that judgment there, and it's okay that it's there. It's not going to make me feel even more shit or even more ashamed. I'm going to catch all of those things and I'm going to breathe into it. I'm going to send love into it, and I'm going to say it's okay. And I'm going to choose in this moment not to attach myself to the rising emotions. And I'm going to choose not to get on that roller coaster and free fall with it. I'm going to choose not to blend with it. I'm just going to allow it to be there and be beautifully bathing in this beautiful healing energy that I'm breathing in every single second. We are breathing in and we are drawing in healing energy in every moment. Every moment. And that judgment can just sit there and just can bathe in that healing energy. So the ultimate nature of sovereignty, it does run very, very deep, and a 30-minute transmission on this is going to be a 30-minute transmission. It's not going to be, and this stuff is always going to come through. And as I do with all of my teachings, with all of my teacher training programs, with all my students, we as teachers are only here really to guide you and to show you some of the way, to guide you back to remembering the wisdom, innate wisdom in the earth, in the cosmos, to guide you to remember how to draw in the wisdom from the cosmos and from the earth, to guide you ultimately back to yourself, to the wisdom in your ancestral line and in yourself, because you are the guru that you seek within. Your guru, your inner self is the ultimate teacher. There is no one that you can meet. There is no teacher. There is no archetype or deity. There is no star being from, the Pleiades, or any incredible shaman, or anyone that you can meet that is ever going to ever top the teacher that you are to yourself. Ever. And if you believe that there is, that's where you start. Yesterday was Guru Purinam, which in the Vedic lineage, which is my ancestral lineage, is the celebration of the guru within. Well, it's the celebration of the gurus, but the first guru is the guru within. It is us. I do not hold my teachers as my gurus. I do not refer to anybody as my guru, because I am my guru. That title is reserved only for me. Ultimate true sovereignty, yes, is exercising your free will and your freedom, your radical freedom, your radical trust, forgiveness, gratitude. Yes, it does encompass those core values, but the ultimate nature of sovereignty is recognizing the guru within, is recognizing that you are the guiding, shining light, the highest teacher within your world, the most wise aspect, the all knowing, all seeing aspect of your world. The most evolved version of you is out there already on another dimension. The most evolved version of you in its seven-dimensional form, which is about to merge with source, with creator energy, with God, exists right now on a dimension where all of time exists all at once. And that version of you is turning back and looking back at all of the lives and looking back at us right now, and he's sending us guidance to guide us through our life. This is our most evolved seven-dimensional version of us, an incredibly multi-dimensional, fully transcended, with all of the knowledge of the universe held within our higher self, is in this moment turning back and is guiding us, is feeding us this wisdom. Where do you think this is coming from? This is not coming from my mind. I am not thinking about this. I have not prepared this. This is coming from my higher self. This is a channeling from my own guru. So, sovereign beings, what will you choose to free yourself of today? What will you choose today, right now in this moment, to free yourself of? Choose something small. Like, I choose to free myself of the shame I feel when I reach for a chocolate bar. I choose to free myself from feeling guilty because I took half an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours out of my day to go to a cafe that I love or do something that I love. I choose to free myself from the stress that somebody else feels. What will you choose to free yourself of today? I would love to know. I would love to know. Please get in touch. Leave me messages, leave me comments. Join our Facebook group, Holistic Health and Wellness Community, where we can talk about these things and and connect. I would so love to stay connected with you all. If any of this calls you and speaks to you and you want more support, Rup and I have a beautiful brand new free course called Protect Your Mind, Body and Energy Fields that you can access through our Facebook group, our Facebook pages, the link in my bio on Instagram, our website, yourearthschool.co.uk. Please check out our free course. It's such a beautiful place to start with this sovereignty work. And if you want to go deeper, our holistic medicine practitioner training course, for those of you that are already on a healing path or already on a therapy or education community work path, we are going to take you through a program where you stabilize into all of this. And we would love to have you. So check that out. Thanks so much for everybody. I've got some comments here for some people on Facebook. It's so amazing, Facebook family, for you to join. And for Laid Off One Woman Show, I choose to free myself of validation from others. Wow, that is such a biggie. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for being you. Thank you for choosing to manifest this body and come to Earth at this time where you are needed for your unique role that you have to play on planet Earth. And I honor so much, honor the wisdom of your soul, of your higher self. And I trust that you are channeling that and bringing that in to your world in a way that is a part of your journey. So have a beautiful day and speak to you soon. Namaste. choose to free myself from needing to fix things. Such a biggie too. Ah. I choose to free myself from the urgency, the feeling like I need to get on and hurry up and do things because of something in the future that's I'm going to miss out on or whatever. That's my freedom choice today, my sovereign choice. Beautiful to connect with you all. Lots of love. Speak to you soon.